I'm Jon Siegel. I'm a swim coach. I've been coaching swimming since since the late 80s. And it's kind of the only job I've ever had, although I've never really felt like I was working. And currently I'm with the Madison area YMCA Mariners in New Jersey.
Fantastic. And just so everybody knows, my name is Tori. I am the office coordinator for fluid mechanics. And today we're going to be talking a little bit to Jon just about his coaching history, some things about him and his team and what he is all about. So let's get started with a pretty beginning question of what got you started into coaching?
So I'd always been involved in swimming. I started on a competitive team, summer league, when I was 4 or 5 all year round. And I've just always been involved in it. As I got older, and I was, 12, 13, I started volunteering back when you could kind of do that, helping the little kids learn flip turns and whatnot. And at the point they decided they were going to pay me for it, I decided I was hooked. And that's what I was going to do. I didn't know I was going to do it for the rest of my life, but here we are.
Amazing how that happens, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who get into the swimming world end up doing it in a similar way where, you just kind of fall into it, or maybe you did it as a kid and then the opportunities just kind of roll in,
Completely.
It's definitely a community sport.
Absolutely.
So what do you like most about coaching?
It's a couple of things. I mean, obviously, I like positively impacting the children I work with and the families and bringing them closer together. But I love being part of something that's bigger than I could ever be alone. And it's so amazing to just be part of a team, part of a group that comes together and becomes one annually. It's just such a cool thing such a strong thing to be a part of.
Definitely. Okay. And so now you said you've been doing this pretty much most of your life. So
Right.
What would you say are your major career achievements to date?
So, I mean, for me, it's about, when I first started this, it was really just fast swimming. It was about fast swimming. And, I've had a kid in the Olympics, and I've had kids, maybe a dozen kids at trials, and I've had, national champion relays. I got that ASCO level 5 accreditation and whatnot. But to be honest with you, I think the thing that I find most rewarding is when I know I've helped the kid and they go on to be in a life of service, be it a teacher, be it a doctor, be it a nurse, somewhere where they're helping someone. And I kind of, hope that I had some sort of impact on that. And that to me is, so much greater than anything we've done in the pool. But I feel like the stuff we've done in the pool, in a lot of cases, may have helped them lead that life, lead that direction.
Right. Okay. And similar to that question, what do you think is something that you are the most proud of with it when it comes to your kids and your career?
Most proud of? It's probably that. It's probably, seeing the kids move on to, it's more of a, I mean, I'm proud of, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for taking that jump from going from it being about swimming to seeing a bigger picture and understanding, the values. Because when I was a kid, I swam because I loved it and because my buddies were there, and yeah, I had goals and things I wanted to achieve. But, it's so easy to get in that tunnel vision of getting kids to, a competitive level, or getting kids to get swim faster, or what college they're getting into. But when you start looking at the bigger picture of, what the future holds, and how every kid has a spot and every kid's going to learn something, and every kid can really, really value what we're doing in the pool, and how it helps them in life, and how it helps them build relationships, and how it helps them learn values, and how it helps them relate to others. And, they learn how to be a teammate. They learn how to be a follower. They learn how to be a captain. For me, I think that's what I'm most proud of. So it's my own personal growth, and how my own personal growth has helped, the children along the way also grow.
Seems
if that made any sense at all.
Well, absolutely. It seems like it's a little bit of a feedback loop. I remember I was a swimmer for a few years, but I was actually a little bit of a late bloomer.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the high school varsity swim team my junior year of high school because my friends were on the team. So very similar to how you started out. And I still haven't left the swimming world 10 years, 12 years later, which is an incredible thing to say. And it's amazing how much swimming as a sport inspires those exact things you were just saying. That it's more than just getting the speed. It's about developing as a person and learning how to take that once you're done being in the pool, what are you going to do next?
Right. Well, and maybe you're never done being in the pool.
Well, you know, hopefully, honestly, hopefully you're never done being in the pool. So with all of our successes, obviously come challenges. So what are some of the challenges that you face that you've been able to overcome in your career as a coach?
You know, I think it's just the world is changing. The way kids learn is changing. The way kids are is changing. The way coaches have coached is changing. And I think staying on top of that and being able to communicate, you know, to the way that people need to communicate, be communicated to. So I know, like, you know, I'm almost 50, and like I like emails. You know, some of the parents are younger than me, and they you know, they might want texts, and the kids all want, you know, social media pops, or whatever they're called, notifications and whatnot. And so, like, you know, how do we stay on top of that? So, you know, that we can all be going in the same direction, and we're communicating the same way to everyone in a way that they need. Like, I never would have thought about that. You know, I used to post something for 20 years ago. I used to post something on the bulletin board. Everyone went in, stopped their day, looked at it, read it, moved on, remembered it. It's not like that anymore. But the science has changed. You know, all the demands that, you know, swimming's not the only year-round sport anymore. I mean, if you have a kid playing soccer, the balance they have to come up with, and you know, I'm one of those coaches that thinks, you know, if you're 12 years old and you're playing a lot of soccer and you're swimming, you're just going to be a better athlete. So when you choose down the road, you're going to be better about that. But it's a challenge. You know, how do we adapt to that? How do we make that work? So I just think it's you know, the biggest challenge is just the way the world changes constantly.
Well, and it's going to continue to change, isn't it?
Well, this year has been the biggest challenge of all.
Well, actually, now that you mention it, what would you say have been some of the challenges that you've been coming up against recently that you're finding yourself needing to face now?
You know, I think trying to keep the kids close to us, trying to, you know, keep their spirits up. You know, I had never used Zoom or any video calls before this COVID thing started. And all of a sudden, you know, I'm getting feedback that, you know, my kid's really missing swimming or whatever. So we started doing, you know, Zoom dry lands and stuff. And the first week or so was just, how you doing? How's everything going? What's going on in your life? And then it turned into some really good workouts. Then I got some of the kids to lead the workouts. You know, I would talk to my coaches, and two of them would talk earlier in the day, be like, all right, here's what we're looking to do. They'd come up with a workout, we'd approve it, and they would run it. So we were able to kind of keep them really actively engaged in a way that I never wanted to be part of. So it was kind of pretty interesting. And now all of a sudden I have no problem video calling people, and I just resisted.
Well, necessity is the mother of invention, I believe.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is that saying, and never more true than these days.
Right.
Okay, so looking back on your coaching career, what advice would you give someone who wants to follow in those footsteps, in your footsteps?
So I always tell people not to, just don't do it, because it's a very demanding lifestyle. However, if you're sure you want to do it, my best piece of advice is, you know, go to every clinic you can, read every book you can, go to online educations, learn everything you can, but go to one of those bigger teams. Like, don't necessarily go to the team you grew up in. Go to a team where a coach has been there for a long time and you have an opportunity to grow within a program. And maybe you take that and stay with the program, or maybe you take that and move on. But you definitely want to mentor. A lot of young kids get involved in this, and, you know, they really don't know what they're doing, and they don't have someone to lean on, and they feel uncomfortable reaching out and calling other coaches and asking questions. And swimming is such a sharing sport. You know, like, if I'm a football coach, I'm not giving you my playbook, but if I'm a swim coach, I'm going to tell you the breaststroke sets I did with my kid that made Olympic trials. So don't be afraid to reach out to people who have a little bit more gray on them than you do, and they will be honored and happy to help.
All right, fantastic. So next would be, what are you trying to develop in your swimmers currently?
So I'm all about, like, life lessons and values. I mean, but I love fast swimming, and it sounds like basically everything I said today says I don't. But I look at fast swimming as just a byproduct of all the values that you do. So what does it take to be a fast swimmer? You know, it's commitment, it's being coachable, it's being a leader, it's all those things. So, you know, if you're willing to work hard and be committed, and you've learned those values, all of a sudden you're going to be a much better swimmer than you would have if it was just about swimming.
Fantastic. And then finally, what are your long-term goals, both for yourself for your swimmers, for your career? What would you like to see happen?
So one of the reasons I'm at the Madison is I've always wanted to be part of a pool construction, and part of it was building a pool with other people's money. So I'm in a position that we're actually doing that right now. And over time, I really want to develop a team where, as I get older and older, I can kind of sit back and watch what we've created. And I genuinely believe I want an ultra competitive team. I really do. But I also want a place for anyone who wants to be a competitive swimmer that is aquatic safe, has an opportunity to do so. And obviously, if you can't swim, we'll have lesson programs, we'll have clinics, things like that. But if you're able-bodied, I want to have a space for you. And I'm stealing another club's motto here, but there's no failures in competitive swimming, just different levels of success. And I believe that's Berkeley Aquatic Club in New Jersey. And I strongly believe that, and I want to be a place where people can come swim, whether they're looking at trials or looking at Olympics or just looking to be a better high school swimmer.
All right, fantastic. And is there anything else, since we have this space here today, is there anything else that you wanted to say, put out there, express?
No, but I got to tell you, this is great, and the stuff you guys are doing is amazing. And being able to connect with coaches during times when I was supposed to be at meets for a couple of months on weekends, exchanging ideas and talking to them. And, yourselves and some other groups have created platforms for us to kind of do that. And I'm coming out of this as excited to coach as I have been in 25 years because of all the conversations we've had and all the information that's been shared, and a lot of it for free. It's been amazing, and it just kind of reminds me of how special the people, this sport is, and all the people involved in it are.